We are starting to decorate today. Okay, here is what has been happening. I have my themes all picked out. I have most of the stuff all set out in all three of the rooms that I'm going to be decorating this week. I just haven't gotten started, so I keep thinking of different things that I want to do, pieces that I want to crochet, things that I want to sew. I just need to stop. I need to start decorating. I have a little bit of time still before we get to Halloween, and again, once I get this all set up, like, this is my theme for the rest of the year, so I can add pieces as I go. I just want to get the base and also do a nice deep clean. It just feels so great to clean entirely in the yarn dungeon before I start putting new decorations up. My favorite pieces that I found this year were these nostalgia blow molds at Target. So they had this pumpkin, they also had the cat and skulls. I have a couple of skulls, actually. I don't know, those might be upstairs still. If I like all of that, we can put everything out. Otherwise, it's just gonna go in the rest of my house. The movie room this year is gonna be the same theme as the yarn dungeon. So Punkoween down here, Punkoween upstairs. The only thing that's gonna be different is my barista area, which I decided a very long time ago that I wanted to be trick-or-treat theme. So I have a bunch of stuff already. That was all the way back in June, beginning of July. I was just dead set on trick-or-treat. So even though there were some pieces that I found, even from what my theme was last year, which I did Killer Clowns, so that kind of actually worked out well because there's a lot of pieces that I can reuse from last year, like this cute little eyeball. Wonder if he even works still. Oh, it totally does. It's like strobe though. I'm not gonna turn that on. Just for decor, it works. Yeah, this entire box, I need to go through and see what I can use for this year and what I just need to put away. Spiderweb could definitely go upstairs in the barista bar for trick-or-treat theme, but I do have some actual orange cobwebs this year. Actually set the main pieces out and see what I need for filler, because since I have time still, if I want to crochet a wreath, because I just remembered that I don't have a wreath that goes with the neon theme, so maybe I can crochet some little pumpkins or something to put in there, or just look around the yarn dungeon. There has to be something that I can do. I have two different wreaths that I haven't even started working on. The trick-or-treat wreath, it's all like moss covered, but I just don't know if I have an area for that up in my barista bar. Salvage what I can. I'm thinking pretty much everything is going except for maybe like the little trees and stuff that I can use all the time, but everything else, pull it down, start cleaning, and get ready for Halloween 2024. Thought about it last night, and if I could find all of the pieces that I needed in order to make a new wreath here in the yarn dungeon, then I was gonna make time for it, and I think I pretty much have everything. So I have the base, which is just this wreath with compressed moss. It's a little bit messy, but I'm gonna attach a bunch of stuff onto it, and also it's not like I'm moving it around once I set it up. It's gonna go right above the headless horseman right there. Even though I love the black raven wreath that I have, it's just like the two colors together, you can't really see the Headless Horseman very well, and that's exactly where I want this. It was in the movie room. Kind of went through some stuff yesterday. I was like, okay, there's just no place for it, and it needs to stay out. It's a piece that I freaking love, and I never want to put it away, so it just needs to find a place in my house. Anyways, okay, so the other pieces, I just have a bunch of floral, just tiny little pieces here. They're already all cut up, so we're gonna make that work. Some black leaves, maybe some ribbon. I don't really know if I'm gonna use that yet. And then I remembered that with Michael's grab bags for their Halloween grab bags last year, I got a bunch of these neon ornaments. So we have skulls and pumpkins. I can kind of play around with these, but I have 3 full boxes here that I can use. I don't know that I'm gonna use these, especially because they have glitter on it. I'm just not a fan of that. We'll probably save those for a different project. I realize that these pumpkins do have glitter on it too, but you know what? A little bit of glitter, it's fine. We'll make it work. I think I'm just gonna grab my Mod Podge spray and go over it real quick just so it doesn't go anywhere. Because I mean, if I touch it, does it come off? A little bit. Yeah, it's not my favorite thing in the entire world. I'm just gonna place them around here. I don't really have an idea or direction that I'm gonna go with this. I'm giving myself 35 minutes to work on this because otherwise this could be an all-day project for me, and I don't really want that to happen. I didn't get any footage last night. The only footage that I got was us walking to Spyro Brewery, really excited, ready for the night, and then I was in it. Like, I have never been this into bar trivia before in my entire life. I mean, obviously I've done bar trivia before, and I knew that the theme was Beetlejuice because I dressed up as Lydia Dietz. I even brought some crochet with. I didn't crochet at all. I was just in it every single round, every single question. It was just such a great time. Spyro Brewery is right next to Muse 2320. Sarah sent me a text and was like, hey, they are doing Beetlejuice themed bar trivia tonight. Do you want to come hang out? I was like, absolutely. Favorite costume to cosplay for Lydia Dietz. It's this gorgeous lace red dress. I did have to do some alterations, but now it fits me like a glove, and I want to wear this dress any single chance that I have. I mean, I wore it 5 or 6 different costume parties and outings. Even sometimes when I do just like a Beetlejuice night, I'll just throw the dress on without the makeup or anything because it's just such a fun dress. So it will definitely not be the last time that I wear this dress. There was like 8 different rounds, a bunch of different questions for each round, well, maybe like 5 or 6. And then one of them was all pictures, and you had to pick out what was missing from that picture. Most of them we got right, but there was like 2 pictures. Between the 2 of us, could not figure out what it was, and those are gonna haunt me forever now. Like, the questions that we got wrong are going to haunt me. Some of them we were just thinking too hard about it. You know, I mean, we've only seen Beetlejuice how many times? Also, we have a Beetlejuice inspired box together, me and Muse 2320. So we have just been like in with the color palettes, all of the screenshots, everything like that. So I thought we were gonna crush it, but some of them were pretty hard, which I kind of appreciated because I guess if it all would have been super easy, I don't think I would have been so into it. It just would have been like, oh, okay, trivia, go through it, and then I would have been bored. Though I wish I would have taken more footage. It was just one of those moments where I was fully present, enjoying everything that we're doing and soaking up all the spooky spirit. This is just a random blanket that I decided to make. I don't really have any time frame of this getting done. I just, after I came home last night, was so amped and ready to work on projects, but there wasn't any single project that I particularly want to work on. It's just, okay, like right now I have a lot of projects that I need to finish, and that's the issue that I'm having. It's all either I need to sew things or I need to like really count and really focus, and that's not really what I want to do at the end of the night, especially once I come off from something like this, because it was later in the evening. I think it was, I don't know, 9 or 10 o'clock by the time we got back. We stopped somewhere to get something to eat, then came back and threw on What We Do in the Shadows. I've been rewatching that entire series, which I freaking love that series, and wanted something kind of mindless to work through. I have a ton of these just hanging around. There's no project that I have in mind with them. The Bernat Blanket Extra, it suggests a 15mm crochet hook, and that's what I'm using. The stitch that I went with is the spike stitch, which I think is looking really cool since it's just going to be one color. So I have my floor mattress here. I've decided like it's staying. It's just going to be a permanent thing. I can crochet here, and then when I'm too tired, I just lay down and enjoy the movie. Really, I was thinking a comforter I wanted on here, but this is going to be better. Whenever I get this done, it's going to go with my theme of the neon explosion. Pillow shams need to get created today. I have 4 in total, like for sure, that I'm going to make, and then I have 2 bigger pillows, but they're already kind of slime green, so I think I'm just gonna leave those. But I also have more fabric than I need. Okay, so this is what I'm going for. 2 different cats, goosebumps, and some spider webs. Everything matches, neon explosion, but I also have that fabric with eyeballs on it, and I think I got 2 or 3 yards of it. So potentially, if I have time today, I could do one of the bigger pillows with that, and then just have one be fluffy slime green and the other one have eyeballs, especially the fact that it glows in the dark. It's just gonna depend on how far I get today, really. These are my main priorities though. Have all the pieces out here, and like today's the day. We're gonna have to finish it. My kitchen has just been a mess for the past 2 days now, and I'm ready to see how this is all gonna pull together. But I knew if I just started putting things up there, like I needed to think about where do I want everything. And I'm really glad that I did, because Target has their pumpkin spice coffee on sale. It's half off. Normally by this time of year, it's not half off, it's just gone. So the fact that they had a bunch of this, which is also going to give me a little motivation to get this finished today. They also had, what was it, the mocha marshmallow, something like that. I haven't had that yet this season. It's not like one of my go-to favorites, but every once in a while I want a little chocolate flavored coffee. What else? Oh, I have a bunch of tea. Yes, that I need to put in containers This is just part of my collection that I either tried throughout the year and love it, or some of them I think are still new. I've tried them, I've got them multiple times, and I'm just stocking up, and now they need to find a permanent container because I won't commit to them in one of the skull containers until I know that I really love them. This is another nighttime tea. It tastes like cocoa, especially with almond milk. Super freaking yummy. A lot of Muse brews. She has a ton of herbal tea, and that's what I've found is definitely my favorite. Even though I have this one here too, which is Pearls. As it's brewing, these like unfold. Normally a morning time one for me, just because this one is pretty caffeinated, I think. I don't know. Caffeine doesn't really affect me in one way or another. I just like having morning tea and nighttime tea, but herbal tea is all throughout the day. This one is peppermint leaves, super, super strong, but after lunchtime, it's really nice. And like the chunks are so big. Oh, just so pretty. Oh, this is a little bit left from summer. I have 2 more bags of this, and I do like it. It's the Berries and Scream from Brutalities with a really fun artwork. Just felt perfect for October. Got a couple of these to stock up on. I didn't even know if I was gonna like it or not, but it has hibiscus in it. Hibiscus, apple, mini white chocolate chips, and cocoa. Raspberry, natural raspberry, and white chocolate flavors. It's more hibiscus than it is any of the chocolate. Oh my gosh, and this is so pretty too. You'll be able to see it when I put it in the skull container a lot better. Really, there isn't anything from both of these places though that I've gotten that I'm like, you know what, it's not for me. There are some that Brutalities have had that I thought I wouldn't like their spicy teas. I just never imagined that would be something that I like, and now that's a staple for me. So I like that they have different things for me to try there. Woke up this morning at like 3:30 to what sounded like every piece of glass in my house breaking. Of course, I'm half asleep, so I couldn't really comprehend what was going on. Went to the living room, everything looked fine, and then as soon as I got to the kitchen, pretty much every single piece that I had put up on my barista bar yesterday is now in shambles, just on the floor. And I thought that everything was broken, which made sense in my head because I heard all this glass. So I was like being really careful where I was stepping around and everything. But as I got more awake, I was like, nothing is broken. Yes, there were a couple of glass pieces that fell to the ground, but didn't seem like it was broken, which, thinking back on it, it all made sense because when I darted up, all 3 of the cats were about 5 times their size, and they were right by me, just annoyed by the noise, obviously. What I think happened is Blossom jumped up on there to explore, which is so bizarre because she has never done that ever in her entire life. Just really has no interest in the barista bar ever, but she jumped up on one of the platters, and obviously it's not going to hold her weight. The only reason I know this is because there are deep cat scratches now into my ceramic platter. I think she jumped on it, noticed that it wasn't stable, got to safety. That was the first thing I looked. I was like looking over her paws, everything, nothing other than she was super annoyed with me, just like death glaring as if it was my fault that all these things fell and made made a really loud noise. The only thing that did break, and it was just a chip, is the bat salt and pepper shakers. Like, they're still usable. There's a pretty big chip out of it. I'm gonna see, after I cleaned everything up, I just set it on the kitchen table and I was like, okay, I need to leave the house for a second because now I need to redo this again. But we'll see if I can actually use it, or if like that part is just really sharp now and I can't have it hung up. And especially the way that it is, you kind of have to have both of them, right? Like, you can't have just the one side, otherwise it's gonna tip. But right now I am at my favorite comic book store to look and see if I have like 3 on my list that I want to get. And this, in my opinion, is the best time to go and look at comic books too, because even the ones that are not super spooky all year round, they might have a Halloween or a spooky limited edition one. I'm just gonna go hang out there for a little bit, see if I can't find something to read and enjoy before I reset everything up for the day, and we'll just continue on from there. Found quite a few today. I think I was in there for a good hour just going through everything. There's even some that I know at one time I had on a list, but I have no idea where that list is anymore, like things to look forward to in October, starting with this one, The Headless Horseman. Spooky pumpkins down here. I'm thinking once I'm done reading it, it's gonna go into the yarn dungeon, especially with the color palette. Definitely gonna match my neon explosion. I go multiple ways when it comes to displaying and storing my comic books. I do have those bins that just have a spot in the front. You can kind of like put your favorite and then what to expect in the rest of the box. I find that that's not my favorite way though. I mean, for space, it is definitely the best. I mean, I can put the most amount of comic books right there. The other way is frames that you can just put one in and then have them on the wall. Definitely my favorite, especially because I can get to them very easily, and they're like pieces of art that way too. So this one for sure is gonna go into a frame. Next up we have the Dirt Witch, totally new to me. Just really loved the design, and obviously the back is slime green. So yeah, a terrifying new creature to the world of horror via a tragic tale about the consequences of actions. Again, I just really love the art of this one. Next we have Hello Darkness. This is the one I was looking for, and they had the October edition. There weren't that many left though, so very happy that I got to it. Definitely one of my favorite comic books because it's a horror anthology comic book. We have a bunch of different authors in here. The design is totally different for each story, which is super fun. I mean, anthology-based horror, anything, books, movies, podcasts, you can take bite-sized little pieces of stories, and I don't have to commit to the whole thing. So this one, I have definitely been enjoying it, or like the previous ones. I read a little bit here and there. I don't like sit down and read the whole thing. I just enjoy a story here and there. They had 3 different cover options for this month, which I'm pretty sure that's how it's been every single month. There might be more, but I've only ever seen 3. It's very difficult for me to go through them because honestly, I would get all 3 of them. I just love the art. I love the design of every single month. But the first one that I got had this character on it, and that's been an option for all 4 of these that they have released. So I'm just kind of sticking with that so that way they look very cohesive. And then lastly, the Graveyard Club. Another one that was on my list of things to look out for. It had a description of if the Breakfast Club was in a cemetery. So I'm game to try this one. There was, I think, 3 again for the cover art, but this definitely was my favorite out of all of them. I don't know if I'm gonna get to this one tonight. I think I might want to save it for actual Halloween night, just since there's a lot to go through in it. And I do have these 3 which are super spooky. Starting with Hello Darkness, because that one is just my favorite. I'm headed to see Terrifier 3 in theaters tonight, and I don't really know how I feel about it. This is a franchise that I absolutely love, but I am not a movie theater going type of ghoulie. The last time I went, it wasn't the best experience. I just got really bored and then ended up watching the movie at home at my own time where I could pause, stop, rewind, that type of stuff, and I ended up liking it a lot better. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of going in the evening when I'm sure it's gonna be nice and full, because horror movies at night, that's the best time to watch them, but for theaters, I think going in the middle of the day is the best. This one happens to be over like a tiny bit over 2 hours. To sit there and not do anything is way too long. So I am going to bring some crochet with. I haven't decided what I want to work on yet. Tickets are at 1:30, and I feel like that's perfect. I still have the rest of the day to do whatever else I want. I have zero plans. This is the only thing that's scheduled, and I have a little bit of time. Obviously, I need to figure out what project I'm going to bring. It needs to be something incredibly easy, obviously something that I can do in the dark, but like still engaging. I have 3 different cardigans right now that it would potentially work. Chit chat about everything that went on yesterday, including the Halloween flash sale that I was not expecting. So in the morning, I went to Dogwood Coffee and they had these little flyers out. I was like, oh, that's cool. It must be some sort of spooky Halloween stuff going on. Tattoo flash sale, noon till question mark is what it was. I was like, okay, this is happening. If after the movie they are still open and still doing flash, I'm gonna go there, sit and wait however long it takes. And it definitely was a little while because that's just how these events go. You know, it's walk-in, plus everyone's excited about the new flash there. But it did give me time to work on my project that I started during Terrifier 3. Very happy that I brought this with. And I mean, spooky tattoos during October, it is just my favorite way to get ready for Halloween. They had quite a selection too. I think there was like 8 sheets of flash. But as soon as I saw their flyer and I pulled up on their Insta what they had, like everything available, I was like, this is it. This witch is amazing. The eyes are so haunting. Yes, that's my tattoo. And it's something that I do every single October, but I never put a specific date down or like block off an area because I love doing walk-ins. And this was the very first time that I'd been to this tattoo shop. Everyone was super pleasant, like just having the absolute best time. And that's another reason why I love these flash sales is because the artists there that have created these sheets specifically for this event. So they're excited, they're hyped, they're ready to do anything from it, stuff that they really, really enjoy. So you know that you're gonna get them in their best mood. By the time I got in there to get my tattoo, this person was still in the best mood and just a little chit chats like, what's going on for Halloween? What are you gonna do for your costume? When's the last time you got a tattoo? Which I realize has been since last year in October, which is wild. Very much loved this place, so I definitely will be going back sooner than next October. Now, for Terrifier 3 in the theaters, I am very happy that I went and saw it in theaters because it was just such a different experience than seeing the first and second one. Just here, video on demand type of deal. In the yarn dungeon with my crochet, like I said, I did end up bringing a project and I was able to work through quite a bit. So I got 2 different sleeves done and then the back panel too. I just need to start off by saying this franchise is one of my all-time favorite horror movies. Any movie they put out, I will go and see it. Maybe not in theaters. I think this was kind of a one and done for me. I definitely enjoy just having the movie in the yarn dungeon, watching at my own time, stopping, starting whenever I want to. I got to about an hour. I don't even know if I made it to an hour actually. I think it was more like 45 minutes and I was starting to get antsy, especially because I don't know when this is going to come out on video on demand. When it does, I really hope that they do another limited edition or like special edition on the VHS tapes like they did with the Terrifier 2, what was that, June, July. I hope that we keep that up because that is one of my absolute favorite horror items that I have. Now, if you have never seen Terrifier and you're interested in watching the third one, because the marketing, I mean, it's been everywhere. We have the t-shirts, we're showing in theaters. Certain ones had puke bags with Terrifier 3 on it and explaining how this is a very gory movie. You know, if you need this or you feel queasy, go ahead and walk outside. We'll provide water. That didn't happen at the theater that I was at. Pretty much everyone there, I'm assuming, had seen the first and second one. But the only way that I would feel that would be necessary is if you had no idea what this movie was about going into it, then yes, it would definitely be jarring because, like I said, it is through and through a gore horror. That is just what Art the Clown is all about. So if you are not into gore, this is not the franchise for you. All three of them have a very similar feel. It starts off super gory, it ends super gory. In the middle, there's a little bit of dialogue, but there's gore sprinkled in here throughout. Personally, I just don't know how they can top the first one. So if you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There is this one particular scene that the very first time that I saw it just cringed and I had to like look through my fingers. For the longest time when I was considering rewatching it, I had to like really think about it. I'm like, do I want to watch this scene or do I just want to fast forward through it? So I mean, there's a couple different factors there. It was the first time I saw it. I didn't know what to expect, but now having the second and third one, that's kind of like the standards that I have for it. So the second one, you know, it was a little bit less for me. The third one, especially since this was like a holiday mashup. And again, it is super gory. Like every single one of them, super gory. There is different things that happen in it. They played it up for the holiday season, and it definitely is going to go on my holiday movie list this year. I do feel like if you like this franchise, it was a fun experience. So if at all possible and you're interested in seeing it in theaters, I'd say go for it. Recap, I guess. It's a Terrifier movie. If you've seen the first and the second one, you know exactly what to expect. I had a great time with it. I definitely will be seeing it again. Happy Xmas in October. Obviously, I'm getting more and more excited the closer we're getting to Halloween. So don't forget to leave in the comments what are some spooky events that you still have on your list that you want to do this year. Have a super spooky rest of your night, and I will see you ghouls in my next video.